In Morgantown, Coach Bob Huggins has challenged the students for their support here in the Coliseum. His team is 6-1 in the young season, leading the nation in scoring margin. The opponent, Duquesne, 6-2. They lead the country in block shots. But will that slow down the Mountaineers' threes? Will the students respond to the coach's challenge? We'll find out right now. Against the Atlantic 10 Conference tonight. Duquesne taking on their second consecutive Big East foe, having lost on Wednesday to the University of Pittsburgh at home. Now they hit the road, come down to Morgantown, about 60 miles away, and set to look for their 7th win of the season. It is basketball from the Coliseum in Morgantown. A couple of West Virginia natives will be matching up in these coaching boxes tonight. Longtime friends, Ron Eberhardt and Bob Huggins. They know each other well. They've known each other for years. That should be fun, and we certainly appreciate you joining us tonight. I'm John Sanders, along with Bob Valvano. Two teams that may be doing a little better so far than people thought they would, huh?
People have overlooked them, I think. They're off to good enough starts. I think they'll be in the postseason discussion. Both these teams come March.
Let's talk about the keys to tonight's ballgame. Let's start with the visitors from Duquesne.
Well, certainly Duquesne, fresh in their minds last year at home, shooting 52% and losing by 31. That's because they didn't defend the three-point line. They'll have to do that again today. The last 2 points are true any game, but certainly against this Bob Huggins coach team, they have to take care of the basketball and get some second shots because they are going to have a hard time shooting a good percentage. They need some stickbacks.
Well, the Mountaineers have only lost once. That was a 2-point loss to Tennessee. What about the keys for them tonight?
Well, certainly the first thing you have to do is figure out how to attack Sean James. They'd like to move him away from the basket, make him chase them around rather than take it right to his strength, which is blocking shots. If they do take it inside, though, they have to finish. They can't be looking out of the corner of their eye for the big fella. And then they've got to keep Duquesne in the 30s if they can. That's what they've been doing all year, defensive field goal percentage. Duquesne struggled against Pitt offensively, and they have got to be up to the task tonight, West Virginia, to keep that shooting percentage down again.
Both teams are high scoring in the 80s. Let's take a look at our star watch. Big man inside and a guy who plays all over the place.
Well, certainly he's not only a guy that can block shots, he can score. And I know there are a number of NBA scouts here to see him tonight. They want to see he's going to be able to score at the next level. He certainly can block shots with the best of them. And Alex Ruoff didn't come into the year thinking he was going to be the leading scorer, but he has been coming off a career 28-point game against Auburn. He has been outstanding. 6 of 8 shooting threes in that game.
Mountaineer fans are looking for some good news in the wake of football disappointment last weekend. West Virginia and Duquesne are straight ahead. Just about set for the opening tip from Morgantown. They have rolled out the carpet for the home team. Of course, Bob Huggins is back here, the starting lineups. And this will be the blue 5 starting tonight for Duquesne. Made a change from what he did at Pitt the other night. Jackson, Tucker, Aaron Jackson, Saunders, and Achar. Then we'll see 5 more guys come in first chance they get. Nichols, Ruoff, Butler, Alexander, and Smulligan. Those are the starting 5 for West Virginia. Coach Bob Huggins back in his hometown and his alma mater. And he's got his team off and playing well. And you made a comment to me as we watched him practice. He's kind of adjusted to the people that he has here.
I admire him for that. He's brought his defensive philosophy. When he was at Cincinnati, his teams on a somewhat regular basis gave up more threes than they made. Here he knows that's this team's strength, and they're running with it. They are shooting the three very, very well.
Bob Donato, the referee. Brian O'Connell and Wally Ratecki are the umpires, and we are underway. Mountaineers controlling the opening tip. The three-point shooting big guy outside, but that's been a little bit of a problem for him so far. This is a guy that's working hard to get better down inside, and that is Joe Alexander.
Oh, that's got to make Coach Huggins very happy. That was obviously designed right at the start, establish an inside presence.
That's Reggie Jackson with the basketball. Gives it up to Tucker. And we'll see pressure all night long from the Dukes of Duquesne. Baseline move, thrown away. Nichols has it. They've got numbers, 4 on 2. Nichols on the wing.
Can't leave it.
Three-pointer on the way, a little short. Tucker on the weak side with a rebound.
They dodged the bullet there, John. And they got off to a terrible start, Duquesne, against Pitt.
That's a nice drive by Tucker. He's got the good speed, the good quickness. A junior college transfer from Florida. Ties the ball game up.
Well, they were already ahead of themselves because it took forever to get that first field goal.
Yeah, it was 14-0.
Oh, almost a turnover. They're going to have a hard time getting this over. They're not going to make it.
out of bounds. Now that's the pressure, and they're going to have to deal with it all night long. Native of Fairmont, 64 tickets for his family and friends. They're having a reunion down here. As a matter of fact, he's not going back with the team because they don't play again until the 21st. His dad was at practice. His dad, Ron, was at practice. His brother was at practice. And they are cluttered with the tickets of the Everhart family. They're all here.
That's nice. These two coaches, you get to know them. They are likable guys, both of them. Very charismatic.
Nice backdoor play and a block. Blocked nicely that time by Wellington Smith. It's Smith on the wing for three. That's no good. Butler there, up, head fake, draws the foul, does not get the basket. He'll go to the line. First foul on Achara. Kieran Achara, senior from Scotland, the only player from Scotland playing college basketball at Division I.
This Dukes team averages 9+ blocks a game, 9.3, and largely it's because of James, but Achara can block shots as well. Butler did a good job. 2 up fakes that time to get him off balance before drawing the contact.
And he's been very good at the foul line. That's 6 of 7 for the sophomore from Newark. One problem for Deshaun is he's run into foul trouble. He's fouled out 3 times. He's gotten in early foul trouble, most of it on defense.
See, 2 different philosophies to create the turnover margins that both teams are enjoying. Bob Huggins will push the ball to one side of the floor.
Foul is going to be on Nichols. Go ahead.
He does a great job, if you've ever heard him explain it, as I have at many clinics. They divide the court in half, they divide it in half again, and eventually they just keep dividing it into smaller spaces till you have no room to work and you turn the ball over. The other side, Ron Everhart's bunch breaks a bunch of defensive fundamental rules, but they make up for it with unpredictability and hustle, and they create turnovers as well.
Well, the one thing that the Dukes did very well against Pittsburgh on Wednesday is shoot the free throws. And Reggie Jackson's been terrific. Didn't take long for Huggins to get Joe Alexander, who got the basket for West Virginia, out of the lineup and bring in Wellington Smith. He made that change in a hurry. So it's a 4-4 game. Here's the pressure. And that's the guy they want to handle.
Watch from the back. Here comes the trap. Good job by Nichols recognizing it.
And Smith gets it across. Wellington Smith, the sophomore from Summit, New Jersey, played more and more as last season went along. There's the trap in the corner. They find Smolligan. Butler gets inside, and he'll go to the line. Achara with 2 quick fouls.
Achara can't believe that one. Nice job getting it out of that very dangerous spot in the corner. Came to Smolligan. There's the pass.
And here comes the other 5.
I'm not sure about that one, John. Achara, that was very, very slight contact if there was any at all.
And this will be Clark, James, Mensah, Fain, and Duty. Those are the other 5 players who come on the court. Certainly Mensah and James are 2 of their best players.
Well, and that was, as we talked about at the top, their problem against Pitt the other night was not defensively. They held Pitt to 41% shooting, but 2 of their bigger scorers, Mensah and Achara, you just saw Achara go to the bench, shot a combined 5 for 24, and that was too much to overcome.
Early lead belongs to WVU, and Butler has 5 of the 7 points. Clark down the baseline, lays it home. Bill Clark, a freshman from Redondo Beach, Florida, makes it a 1-point game. Wellington Smith backs off and then finds a receiver. Butler kicks it to the corner. Ruoff for 3. Got it.
That's perfect job against the pressure. That's what you give up when you press. Layups and threes if the team does a good job attacking it. Perfect spacing by the Mountaineers.
Duty with the basketball didn't come into the game until the final seconds. Loose ball picked up. Clark for 3. Answers.
Nice pass by James off the skirmish there. Loose ball, broken play. Got a good look at it.
And this is the kind of basketball they want to play. 10 men for 40 minutes. And that's a foul.
He threw him out of the game. He threw Jamie Smolligan out of the game.
Well, Jamie Smolligan retaliated for what happened in midcourt when Clark knocked him down.
Well, he is absolutely beside himself, but that's not only an intentional foul, but he tossed him. Wow.
You don't see that very often.
That's the exact thought going through my mind. You see the intentional foul, and that kind of is a trigger to the coach. Hey, get him out and cool him off. But you don't see a guy toss that often, but he was irate.
Well, he had gotten knocked down earlier, right in the middle of the court, and there's his answer. And it was flagrant. There's no doubt about it. It was payback for what Clark did to him at midcourt, and now the officials are huddling.
Well, I don't. You can't retract that.
I don't think so.
Frankly, once you make that call, I think the other officials may be asking like we are, gee, is it worthy of tossing him? Wally Rutecki,
right, he made the call.
The one who made the initial call, and now explaining it to Ron Everhart. Boy, I'll tell you what, whether you debate whether he should have been tossed or not,
you made the call.
He made the call,
yeah.
And he indicated twice that he was thrown out of the game. I don't think you can retract that. I think that would be a mistake.
Smulligan is still on the bench. The conversation continues. And the
right, here it is again.
Take a look at it.
Watch the right side of the screen right here. Comes Smulligan.
Well, he lowered the boom on him. There's no doubt about that. But what we didn't have on tape was what happened to him at midcourt when he got knocked down. And it's the second guy.
He's going all right. Well, that's why you teach your players, as much as you want to, it's not a bar. You can't retaliate because this is what the officials see. Take a look. Lowers the shoulder and then raises the forearm too. Knocks him to the floor. But right there's the official giving the indication that he's thrown him out of the game. And as we said, that's not something that you can reverse.
We have to shoot some free throws here too, don't we?
Well, there should be a couple of free throws, and we'll resume.
So if you get kicked out, you get called for a foul, then that's 2 fouls against you, right?
Well, the flagrant technical, but I mean the only ones they'll shoot are the intentional foul. It'll be 2 free throws. But,
it doesn't matter how many fouls Smulligan has because he's in the locker room.
That's what I was going to say. He's not getting any more fouls today, John.
No,
we're sure about that. I'm not sure what they're looking at unless they're trying to figure out who the free throw shooter is.
That's Clark, isn't it?
Yeah, he absolutely pummeled him. I think that's what they're trying to determine. They want to see who the free throw shooter is. That could be the only thing they're looking at on the monitor. Well, it's the new relaxed Bob Huggins.
It certainly is.
Just kind of took the news in stride.
Well, we brought this game to a standstill, didn't we?
Well, boy, I mean, it's a vicious shot. We're watching it on our ISO monitor, and he gave him a good whack.
Well, it's just like a football game. The second guy is always the one that gets caught.
You know, it's one of those things, no matter how much you tell players, it's the emotion gets the better of you. You understand, but that's why you tell them. It's not about, trying to turn players into, making them soft or not standing up for themselves, but that is what you do. The officials, whether they don't see the first one or don't call the first one, and the second one comes along, that's the one they see, and now you've hurt your team, and he's gone. They were taking an awfully long time to determine the free throw shooter, though.
Well, he was very emphatic in making the call, and Bob Huggins now is going to have to get his team fired up. Keep this in mind.
Clark, by the way. We watched the replay enough. There's no question it's Clark. So I don't know what the delay could be. Unless they want to check on the shot clock or something. I mean, the game clock.
Right there. If they look at that replay, they'll see that Clark had knocked down Smulligan.
Oh, well, maybe that's what they're looking at. We're told, by the way, that the delay is their monitor. The officials' monitor was out. They had to do a repair job.
Well, we were looking at what the officials were looking at.
They may be trying to see that initial contact that you're alluding to, John, which they're allowed to do in a flagrant situation to see if there should be another ejection. So I think they want to see what transpired.
Well, the thing of it was so obvious to me because it happened right at midcourt, directly in front of us.
Well, they're trying to see a different camera angle because I can see what they're looking at. We've got a monitor that's the same thing they're looking at. And unfortunately, you can't really see what Clark did from that one angle. Here's another angle.
There's a forearm that knocks him down.
That's not.
And so then he responds.
Yeah, but they're two different things. I mean, yes, he should have been called for a block. If you'd seen that first one, you would have called a block. And if you really wanted to be technical, maybe an intentional foul. But even that, he's just hindering a guy up the floor. That's a foul. The second one was, I think, at a different level, John, in all fairness. It really was.
So Clark will walk to the foul line.
They missed the first one, though. You're right.
Yeah,
that should have been a foul.
But see, my point is that's what got Smulligan going.
Clearly did.
And he answered. Unfortunately for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, his answer was a farewell address.
That's right. So if Clark makes a couple, and he's not a very good foul shooter, he could give them their first lead.
Well, this is big for them because when they've had big opportunity games, Ron Everhart, you know, this is a program that hasn't had a lot of those. Last year, they had some good wins in their conference. And then they got a Rhode Island team with a lot of attention on them, and they came out with a little deer in the headlights. Wednesday against Pitt, I don't know if it was deer in the headlights, but they were way out of sync the first 5 minutes. Well, got down 17. This is different tonight.
Well, we talked about the fact that they might have not had their legs after that 16-hour bus ride and the wreck on their way back from Iowa. But the Dukes have their first lead.
Great.
Clark will try to add to it with a three. It's short. The rebound pulled down by Smith. Butler pulls up for a jumper. Good. Deshaun Butler has 7 points. Here comes Mensah. Back to Duty, and he almost throws it away. Keep this in mind that in the game against Auburn, Smulligan played about 2 minutes. They took him out, and he never came back. So about the same thing happened tonight, except that for sure he's not coming back. Duty with it. So far, no touches for Sean James. Clark, Mensah for three. And it looks like his shooting woes continue. He only made 2 field goals, no 3-pointers in the game on Wednesday. Ruoff with it. Inside, Wellington Smith finishes.
Beautiful delivery. Ruoff showing not only a scorer, but a terrific passer. He was second in the Big East in assist-to-turnover ratio last year.
Along the baseline, Mensah gets tied up. James saves it. Here's Clark. Mensah baseline. No place to go. Turnover. We get in too deep that time. Second turnover by the Dukes. Good look for Ruoff. Not that time. Loose ball tipped out of bounds. Touch last by Duquesne. It will take us to our first timeout. We had one big timeout earlier. The Dukes and the Mountaineers. And right now West Virginia has the lead. It's 15:41 to play. 14-11 to West Virginia. 14-11 is our score. 15:41 to play in the half. Along with Bob Valvano, I'm John Sanders. 71% of the Mountaineers scoring is back for this season. The big missing piece of that puzzle, of course, is Frank Young, who was the MVP in the NIT tournament.
That NIT, though, you know, if you try and find a pattern of whether that carries over in the next season, you really can't. But there's an easy reason why. As you look at the field goal percentage, both teams off to good starts. Depends on how many players you have back from this team. In West Virginia, as you said, 71% of the offense. It's carrying over to this good start, I think.
Turn around, off the glass, no good, tipped up. Loose ball tracked down by Wellington Smith. So a fresh clock at the 15:30 mark for the Mountaineers. Nichols playing in his 111th consecutive game. He has played in every game since he has come to Morgantown. Not quite as good as Joe Hairbear, who started every game when he came to Morgantown. Smith to the basket, lost the ball. It's loose, tracked down by Nichols. Shot clock at 10 now. Here's Ruoff on a drive. Whoa. No place to go, and he traveled.
Good defensive possession for the Dukes that time.
Third turnover for West Virginia. They've got a 3-point lead. And the original starting lineup is back in there now for Duquesne. That's Achara, Tucker, Jackson, Saunders, and Reggie Jackson. This is Reggie with it.
See the 1-3-1 that's been a staple of this program for a lot of years.
Saunders to the baseline. Reggie Jackson for three. That's too strong. And the loose ball is tracked down by Smith. Wellington Smith doing a good job since coming on.
He's been very productive off the bench here.
He's going to shoot a three. Got it.
He's listening to you, John. Said, I've done everything but score. Let me knock down a three here. Very impressive few minutes.
6-point lead, the biggest of the half so far. The dump down. Achara spins, has it blocked. That was blocked that time by Alex Ruoff from behind. Nichols on the move. Alexander backs away. And usually when he dribbles, he'll go to the hole, which is what he does right there.
So many gifts. Great vertical. Able to handle the ball. Good three-point shooter. As good as he's been, he's had 2 double-doubles in the first 4 games. They continue to look for even more out of him.
7-0 run for the Mountaineers. Reggie Jackson against Nichols, and Nichols will be called for the foul. That'll be his second. That's going to bring Into the lineup, Joe Mazzulla, the backup point guard. And here comes the other 5 for the Dukes of Duquesne. In practice, this team wears the white jerseys. The other team wears the blue jerseys. And that's, you decide, probably the next game, the white team will be the starting 5.
Makes everybody stay in the game, that's for sure.
For sure, yes. They didn't do that against Pitt. They started the 2 big guys in the lineup together. And he wasn't happy with that. Mensah on a drive. Scoops misses the shot.
Well, he can't get anything to go. He's in a terrible shooting slump.
Butler pulls up for 2. Got it. It is a 2. Butler with 9 early points. Butler had a terrific game against this team last year. He scored in double figures, as did Alexander and as did Ruoff.
Trouble here.
Some pressure. Clark with it. He'll shoot 3. That's going to be well short. Smith the rebound.
Well, he's all over the place, and they are really forcing the offensive tempo here.
Great hustle. Held ball, and it'll go the other way. So the Dukes will get it back with 12:59 to play. Just over 7 minutes gone.
The first guy on the floor usually wins that battle, and he was quickly on the floor, Jason Duty, to come up with it.
And a freshman, John Flowers, checks into the lineup now, and Butler will get his first rest. John Flowers, a freshman from Waldorf, Maryland. He was recruited by John Beeline before he departed. 9-0 run for the Mountaineers. They've opened up an 8-point lead.
Good idea to give the big fella a touch, I think. That's the man-to-man.
Well, he was a little more aggressive looking for his offense against Pitt than he had been, and they want him to do more of that. Clark, baseline drive. Tried to come back inside, knocked out of bounds. 12 on the shot clock, and the Dukes will keep it.
That's what every team I've ever seen of Bob Huggins, they do so well. You start a move to the goal, and the weak side rotation is like shot out of a cannon. They are over there quickly, and they did it again there.
See if James looks for his offense here.
He has to. Short shot clock.
Bending in.
They need to go get some shots out of him. As you said, a little mistake here.
And that time Smith apparently not ready for the pass.
They've got to get some shot opportunities for him. He's got a nice array of moves in there. He's not very strong. That's the one thing the guys at the next level are concerned about. He's got good feet, but he's got a little jump hook. He's got a nice touch on the ball. He can step away and shoot it. They need to move the defenders around, make them come guard him.
Huggins not happy with Mazzulla, so Ted Talkington has checked into the lineup. Talkington is in there. Duquesne still in a drought, though, and they're going to stay that way.
Clark with a bad delivery to James there. Great catch.
Butler, nice catch, gets inside, tries to dump it down, does, stripped away, and lost. That time the freshman could not handle it, John Flowers. 6 turnovers already. Duty for 3. That's going to go the other way, and that will be on number 20, Philip Fain, another junior college transfer from Illinois.
This team is so good at passing the basketball. Nice delivery along the baseline. Good clean strip. The fans didn't like it, but Clark made a good play.
I think part of the problem there was he put that ball on the ground first, gave him a chance to get that hand in there.
Always dangerous around the goal like that.
Just go right up with it, right? If you're there anyway.
Give it a little head fake and muscle it up, absolutely. This team really can pass the basketball. That's a carryover from last year where they broke the school record for 3s and assists.
On the drive. That one goes. Nice move that time by Flowers. The 6'7" freshman gets the basket. And the Mountaineers again have opened up an 8-point lead. Mensah on a drive. Oh, he's really forcing it now.
He really is. That's over. Big size disadvantage. Alexander did a nice job.
Look out. Here comes Butler. And one. Foul is on James, but Butler, who's had a great first half, is already in double figures. The Mountaineers are on a roll. They've opened up a double-digit lead with more to come. Stay with us. Duquesne up by 10, first double-digit lead of the night. Golf fans and club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com. Sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifying site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. Listen to this. Mulligan went out, less than 3 minutes gone in the first half. Since then, Duquesne has made 1 field goal.
Well, I think, there's not much of a surprise that Bob Huggins coach teams are going to stand their ground. And if they feel that they were challenged physically, Smallegen responded, albeit in a way the officials didn't appreciate, but they've taken it up a notch defensively, and now they've got a little run working for themselves. You don't like to think those things serve as catalysts, but sometimes they do.
And, you can go either way. It can help one team and hurt the other, or
backfire.
Do the opposite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
First miss at the line, the ball tipped out of bounds, and it's going to belong to Duquesne. Flowers trying to get in there. Butler's first miss tonight from the free throw line.
You never know how a team's going to respond. They can be distracted by it, but Mountaineers have rallied.
Reggie Jackson on a drive, dumps it inside. It's blocked and tracked down and kept alive by Aaron Jackson. No, he did not keep it alive. It goes out of bounds. So Aaron Jackson, the junior from Hartford, could not get there.
Well, now you get an idea why this team gives up just 34% shooting. That ball's a foot from the basket, clean block from the back, and then it would have been off the shooter, and so Jackson tried to run it down, couldn't save it in time.
Ruoff working on Tucker. 11 minutes remaining in the opening half. This is Flowers, the freshman. Wellington Smith, who was a factor early in this game, is not in the lineup right now. There's the dump down. Flowers works his way inside.
Taking advantage of matchups that they feel they could post. Beautiful job passing the ball and spacing.
And West Virginia's got all the blocked shots. That's a travel before the shot on Achara. And two pieces of the puzzle kind of struggling right now for Duquesne. That's Achara and also Mensah. We've talked about him.
They both struggled offensively against Pitt. Defensively, they did a good job, but now they're even struggling defensively. West Virginia very comfortable in their offense. Good patience, confident with the ball, not avoiding traps, avoiding block shots.
And they still like to go back door when they can.
A lot of the same principle. That's a carry.
So it'll stay a 12-point lead. Dukes will get it back.
The other thing you look at with a team like Duquesne that relies on their full-court defense so much is it tends to be a game of runs. You got to look at Ron Everhart, because if they don't score, they can't press. And when they don't press, they don't get a chance to trap. And when they don't trap, they're an ordinary defensive team. So it's kind of designed to create runs, both positive and unfortunately negative.
And they slip back into that 1-3-1 again, as Missoula has returned to the lineup, along with Wellington Smith. Reggie Jackson down the lane scoops and scores.
Now they can get in their press, and let's see if they can build on it.
Fourth point for Jackson. Butler to help out. They want to get it in the hands of that guy, Missoula. Working on Reggie Jackson. He's bumped and
shaky.
lost.
Oh, they almost had one.
That'll go on Aaron Jackson.
But Bobby just glared at Missoula. Missoula's not having a smooth start to the evening.
He did more than glare at him the last time he took him out of the lineup.
Yes, he did. I'm not sure he got back in his good graces there. Missoula's a guy who's got a lot stronger, put on a lot of weight.
They all have, basically. Darius Nichols added 25 pounds. So did Joe Alexander, although Joe told me yesterday he's lost about 10 of it since the season started. And another bad pass by Missoula. He can be back on the bench pretty quick.
And I think he may be.
8 turnovers already for the Mountaineers. Talkington set to check back in.
They're not a great rebounding team, West Virginia, so those turnovers are big. They're +9 per game. They can't afford that many.
Missoula on the defense. The drive comes up short. Ruoff back the other way. He's got Butler ahead, and he overthrows it. Another turnover. Maybe hurried a little too much, and Missoula will go back to the bench. And in this time, Bob Huggins doesn't talk to him.
No, he's just, he may be writing this night off as a bad day in the office. We'll see.
Still a 10-point lead. 9:19 to play.
We found out the other night, though, this Duquesne team doesn't have any quit in them.
No, they do not.
Keep grinding. Nice move by Achara there.
And he gets a 3.
Beautiful job. That's very often the guy who's open, the screener. He set the screen. His defender had to respect the cut and just step away for a moment to help, and he popped back open and got the good look.
He is 6 of 16. Mountaineers now have the numbers as Butler gets inside, sets up Flowers, and that's too strong. Out of bounds, but it was knocked out of bounds, I believe, by Butler.
That's what we talked about, Duquesne. The ultimate team of runs. And here they're on a positive one after digging a pretty big hole for themselves again.
They fell behind by 12. It's not as bad as Wednesday when they fell behind Pitt by 17. And of course, the Mountaineers shot 61% and hardly missed a three-pointer against Auburn. So they have stayed hot. They're shooting it very well. Duquesne the advantage with points off the many turnovers that the Mountaineers have produced already. Aaron Jackson against Butler. Now Tucker on the drive. And that foul's going to go on Ruoff, I believe.
You know, one of the other things when you play a team that plays like West Virginia, they're so good at passing. We talked about last year setting the school record for threes and assists. But when you move the ball on the perimeter, they defend it well because they're used to seeing it every day in practice. And you could see Duquesne on that possession look like a couple of guys caught it expecting to have shots. Not there.
Quick pass to Saunders, misses the shot too strong. Talkington with a rebound. Oh, steal. Jackson goes up and scores. Aaron Jackson gets his first basket.
What a silly pass. Sometimes you just don't see a guy who's standing right in front of him and threw it right in his hands.
Well, the turnovers are really keeping Duquesne in the game. A 7-0 run now for the Dukes. These two teams were in the same league for 18 years. Either the Atlantic 10 or the Eastern 8. Ruoff back to Alexander. Baseline jumper good. He has the potential, I think, to be a very, very good player. Jackson, no basket. Jackson pushed him out of the way. And Aaron will pick up his second foul. That'll take us to a break with 7:52 remaining in an action-packed first half. Right now, it's the Mountaineers leading by 7 under Coach Bob Huggins, 27-20. Big rebounding edge so far for the Mountaineers, 15-4. They lead it by 7, and one reason they're ahead is the first half play of Deshaun Butler. He's been outstanding for the Mountaineers.
Well, he certainly has, and you see a lot of his work around the goal, which is a big deal because the Dukes have done a good job taking away the perimeter game from West Virginia. West Virginia comes in averaging almost 10 three-pointers a game. They've only made 2, but you know, you don't need threes when you're getting around the goal, scoring. You see in transition, drawing the foul, the three-point play. Deshaun Butler has led the way with the inside game for West Virginia.
Ron Everhart has brought in his second starting 5. I think what we should do is just list all 10 guys.
Starting 10. Well, at home so far, West Virginia this year has won by 28, 65, 66, and 17. So I'm sure Bob Huggins would like to all to be like that, but if this is a useful game, if it's a more competitive one, as so far it's been.
Wellington Smith handles. Moves it across, keeps his dribble, gives it up to Alexander. Alexander looking for a Ruoff, finds him. 7.5 minutes to go. Duty there on defense, inside Alexander. He'll go to the basket. That's an offensive foul.
Good defense. Well, these are things that Duquesne just literally couldn't do last year. They couldn't just D you up, stop you in a half court like that. They ranked 324th out of 325 Division I teams last year in field goal percentage defense. But not this year. They are much better.
And West Virginia just about as bad. Mountaineers averaging 13 turnovers per game on the season, already 11. Here comes James, and he gets it to go.
That's what I think you need to keep an eye on right now. Can they get the big fella involved in the offense? Because they're not getting much out of Mensah, and he has got to be a factor, and that was a good, strong take to the goal there.
And Clark thought he was fouled by Alexander. Smith, dump down, turn around, Alexander, good.
So gifted, just the elevation, just able to catch it, turn, and shoot it over you.
The clock is stopped, by the way. It's not running at all. The clock is still at 7:10, and it's been there for a long time. And nobody has noticed it.
That's our good Samaritan act here. We'll see if we can call it to their attention. We get one of the officials. I think they've already told them now. So there goes my Boy Scout badge for the day.
Well, you couldn't get the referee to answer you. I know. That's like when you were coach. Did they answer you?
No, that's a good point. I should have felt right at home there. You are right. We lost a good, probably solid, close to a minute of play, I would think.
So it didn't move the whole possession that West Virginia had, and they've come back the other way, and it still hasn't moved. So now they're going to look and see where the clock stopped and try to get it fixed. Those things are supposed to start automatically on the whistle of the referee, aren't they?
Well, but you wouldn't blow the whistle on an inbound.
Right, no, that's true.
There's 7:18. All right, so here we go. Stops right here for some reason.
That's where it stops. The game clock. The shot clock kept going.
No, the shot clock has stopped now, too. Everything's stopped. The whole kit and caboodle's frozen.
Got a nice move we got to see again.
No, it did, though. It was a nice move by Alexander, and worth discussing that, because he's certainly, this is not going to be a traditional post-up team by any stretch of the imagination. Bob Huggins knows that, but you got to have that inside presence. We've seen it from Butler, and when you see Alexander can take advantage of that matchup.
Well, that's one of the things that he's working on, and the coaches are working with him as well. And I think he's starting to feel a little more comfortable when he gets down there in the post situation.
Well, he certainly does here. He puts the defender right on his back as we watch the officials. Nothing more exciting than looking at two referees looking at a monitor.
Well, they've spent a lot of time watching the TV so far in this game, haven't they?
And let's see what the final verdict is. I usually bet, not with bad choice of words, I usually predict about how many seconds. What do you think, John? I think they'll take 18, so that would be 6:52.
I think it'll be more than that.
All right, let's see. Oh, they only took 9. They took a 9 off. I win.
You do. It was a quick possession, wasn't it?
It was Price is Right. We'd all lose. We were all over. Yeah, a little extra basketball for the fans. That's good. It's the holiday season.
Twice already in the first half, a little extra timeout, and the shot clock is at 7:01. 2 shots coming up. Mensah, a great free throw shooter at over 83%. The redshirt junior, transfer from Siena.
A gifted athlete, too, at Siena, from where he transferred. He's only 6'1". He won the Rebounder Award. That tells you something.
He's a great defender as well.
Yes, he is.
According to our calculations in the truck, and you know the truck is never wrong. That's a three-pointer. Fending no good. Loose ball picked up. Fending blocked. This is Clark back the other way with Mensah.
Too soon. Oh, they got away with it, though. Nice job. You don't want to make that first pass until the defender commits. You have a 2-on-1. That should be a one-pass fast break. The defender either comes to you and you pass it, or he goes with the possible receiver and then you finish it. But they made 2 quick passes and got it done.
Alexander gets around James, no problem there. Sets up Butler. Stops, pops, too strong. Smith the rebound at the defensive end, or the offensive end rather. 3-point game. It was a dozen. Now it's 3. That's the thing about these Dukes. They don't ever stop.
Well, and they play, as we said, they play in runs.
Ruoff's got the advantage. Posts his man. I think that was a pass, I hope.
Yeah, it was clearly tried to dump it down.
But another turnover.
His teammate had started to go to the glass for the rebound. There was no rebound because Alexander tried to pass it. And now, Van Everhart seeing a chance to tie.
And Bob Huggins has taken off the jacket.
Such a beautiful suit. I hate to see him do that. It's a nice vest, though.
He has taken off the jacket, gave it to Mark, the team manager.
There it is. It's a nice look for Bob. A lot of layers. Looks like there's a T-shirt under there, too. It's really hot with all those layers.
Duty way outside. Ruoff on him. Just under 6 minutes to go in the first half. 3-point game.
That's what you can't throw against Bob Huggins' teams.
Smith with a jam.
You might as well just hand them the ball. You try and throw cross-court passes, they will make you pay. Their defense is predicated on keeping you on one side of the floor, and they paid for it.
Inside to James. The foul's going to go on Wellington Smith. I tell you what, the fans, if you look in the section behind us, but the entire section all the way to the top, has the students are here big time. There's about 4,000 seats available, and I'd say they've got 3,900 in
which
here.
Is about 3,600 more than they had for the Maryland Eastern Shore game. Bob Huggins called his own students out, basically asked them out. He didn't berate them, but he was, hey, these guys have had good seasons. They're working hard. We need you out here for the non-conference schedule as well, and they've responded today. They're hearing numbers, and they're loud.
This time just 2 subs come in for the Dukes as the Jacksons. Aaron and Reggie return. James at the line. He's a good free throw shooter, which you talked about on Wednesday is a good thing for a big man.
Especially a defender. You don't have to take him out of the game when you're trying to protect the lead, because he can play defense for you, and if you get the ball back and they foul him, he's good at the line. Very amiable young man, too. He's giving me a hard time because I was born in Queens and he's from Brooklyn, and we got into a little New York borough battle there, but after the game at Pitt, very likable kid.
Well, they've been perfect so far at the free throw line. They have made all 8. Sean James now with 5. Missoula will try to handle against the pressure. The Mountaineers have really struggled in turning it over, but they've got a 3-point lead. Alexander short. That was a gift. He got it back. Reverses and scores. Look what I found.
We've worked too long together. That was the exact word I was going to use. Merry Christmas to Joe.
Clark for 3. Too strong. Weak side rebound pulled out of there by the freshman Flowers.
When they don't score, they can't press. They can't press. The run goes the other way. We'll see if West Virginia can get it back up to 7 or 8.
Right now it's 5. Back door. 13 for Deshaun Butler. Great feed that time. You can't relax for a second.
Too good a passing team. Carry over from last year. Trouble.
Mensah gets inside, finds James, lays it home.
That was a terrific job by Mensah. An inexperienced guard would have tried to throw it cross court, and they had already rotated. They would have taken that pass away. But he waited for James to get in there and got him an easy one.
Here comes Missoula. We almost lost it again.
Nice move.
Flowers. Short jumper, bending in.
Flowers, great composure for a freshman there. Nice up fake and then the good finish.
7-point lead for West Virginia. The Dukes have had just one lead. They were up a point. They've trailed by as many as 12. Shot clock at 15. Aaron Jackson finds Reggie Jackson. Missoula tries for the steal, didn't get it. Clark a 3 from deep in the corner, bending, no good. Rebound Butler.
And again, I mean, it's just incredible, the momentum swings. 7-point lead for West Virginia, chance to get it back to double digits. They were just on the ropes not more than a couple of minutes ago.
Here's Ruoff inside. Gets it back to Alexander. Starts a move on James. Turn around. Too strong. Mensah could not hang on to it. He got tangled up with his own teammate. It'll take us to a timeout with 3:13 to play in the first half. It's the Mountaineers by 7. .313 to go until halftime. Let's take a look at our stats tracked so far, picking out a couple of items. There it comes. Well, maybe not.
Well, the turnovers are what's keeping Duquesne in the game. The turnover margin. West Virginia's really made a lot of them in the half court. They haven't really been hurt by the backcourt pressure. They've turned it over a little bit in the front court, but the rebounding margin just incredibly in West Virginia's favor. That more than offsets the turnover differential.
And especially when you consider that there are a couple of 6'10" guys playing on the other team.
Done a very good job of negating that aspect, especially the shot blocking aspect for Duquesne.
Well, a new player has checked in for the Mountaineers. Jacob Green, a freshman who was redshirted last year, on with Missoula, Ruoff, Butler, and Joe Alexander. The Mensah James team is on the court right now for Duquesne. All the way out to Ruoff. Alexander works the baseline, turns, shoots, bending off.
So they can't get a defensive rebound for anything.
Good job by Butler.
And that is just really now killing them. I mean, that is the difference in the game. They made some stops, but they can't stop the second shots.
Dukes will have it.
Nice job changing defenses by Bob Huggins. Keep them off balance back to the 1-3-1.
Good inside feed to Mensah, and he's able to finish. That is his first field goal of the night.
Now they get to put a little bit of pressure on. They don't get very much out of this in the backcourt. They're just kind of falling back, playing straight up man. Which is dangerous because they can't get a rebound even if they stop it.
Knocked out of bounds by Aaron Jackson. And Saunders will return for the Dukes of Duquesne.
You don't want to get impatient against the team that makes layups and threes, so Ron Everett's got to be careful. But if he doesn't trap and get some steals, even off missed shots, they're not coming up with the ball because they can't rebound anything. So he's going to figure out some way to turn the tide here.
Here's Butler. Alexander. Fadeaway jumper, good. Joe looking for his offense a lot more than he did in John Beeline's situation. Jackson flies down the court and gets hammered. He'll go to the line for a pair. Foul is on Missoula. Tonight's game is being produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television Incorporated.
Very big 2 minutes before the half. You don't want to, on the road, go in to the locker room. You guys look at a 12, 14-point margin.
That's the first miss at the line for the Dukes tonight. They had been 8 for 8. Green departs. Flowers returns.
Big stretch. If he can make this, they can set their press up. They need to get a little mini run before the horn here.
No problem with number 2, 5 points now for the senior from Hogansville, Georgia. And really no pressure that time. Oh, but a mistake.
Boy, that was
very bad pass that time.
Sean Butler. He's trying to say, says, I'm trying to throw it to the guard, coach. But Coach Huggins is saying there's nobody in front of you. Just bring it up the floor.
Well, he's not going to be happy at halftime with the turnover situation for his team.
A lot of, use a tennis term, unforced errors.
Alexander to Butler. Flowers from outside, too strong.
Stop the game, give that guy the game ball. They got a rebound.
Saunders with it. There's an overplay and a foul.
Good job by James. That's what, I mean, he's got so many things that translate to the next level. The guy that size running the floor like that, John, he was the first guy down the floor. Quick feet, good hands, good free throw shooter. We know he's a great shot blocker. You just wonder if he's got the strength to establish position around the basket against guys at the next level. And right now, I don't think there's much question. He's a good 20, probably 30 pounds short of being able to do that.
A little more beef, don't you, with the big boys?
You do, especially if you're going to have a presence in that lane. But boy, he's got a terrific touch for a guy that size.
I never had time to make sure his team doesn't lose their 3rd straight game after the 6-0 start. That start of 6-0 is the best in a quarter of a century on the bluff of Duquesne. Missoula against Jackson.
I wonder if James could translate to a wing player at the next level. He's got to work on skills there, too. But certainly a lot of promise.
Butler.
Nice.
Good feed to Flowers. Got the roll. John Flowers with 8 points off the bench. And they do not like that call at all.
Disenchanted as Coach Huggins has been with some of the decisions of Joe Missoula tonight, I think that time he's in agreement with the crowd. I think he thinks his guard made a good defensive play. See if we can see it on the replay. Good strong move to the goal to match up with the number 3s. Tough call there.
Another miss. Man, he's missed 3. That's almost unheard of.
That's one area they have a big advantage over the Mountaineers. They shoot almost 76% from the line. West Virginia just 65. But as you said, 3 misses there from Jackson.
Well, Jackson had not missed a free throw this year. And that's stripped out of bounds. Mountaineers will keep it. Back into the lineup comes Mensah. We have still not seen both Achara and James on the court at the same time as we did against Pitt. A 20-second timeout.
I like this. Bob's going to not only cover, I'm sure, a set play off the sideline out of bounds, but then what they want to do defensively, because a little mini run here, and all of a sudden you go in the locker room up 11 or 12. They don't lose very many games up 11 or 12 in this building at the intermission.
Well, their biggest lead has been a dozen. The Dukes led just once by 1 point. Joe Alexander made the first basket, then he went to the bench for a while, but he's come on pretty strong.
This is what you were talking about earlier, John. That back to the basket presence. Got that nice size and a wonderful touch. That's awfully difficult to defend. And he can also put it to the deck, as we see here. Gets himself on balance and shoots the pull-up jumper. 6'8", 230 with a 30-plus inch vertical, 34-inch vertical or so. That is a not easy shot to defend.
I don't think you can stop him in there.
You know, if he gets that kind of a...
If he gets any separation at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, gets on balance, gets that kind of a plant.
That's going to be a foul. And it'll be on Mensah. Looked like Kojo was going to get a steal. And this compound a miserable night for Joe. Joe Mazzulla has really struggled, and he almost lost it there.
I don't think he anticipated Mensah chasing him all the way to the back. I think he thought he was just going to have him on his hip, and Mensah, it was a good decision to go for the steal, but all it gets him is a personal foul.
So Mazzulla at the line has not scored. He's only a 54% free throw shooter, which is not good news if you're going to be the point guard of this team next year. But they have recruited a point guard by the name of Truck Bryant from Brooklyn, New York, who will be here next year for the Mountaineers.
Looks smooth as silk on those.
Sure did.
And they'll get the ball back with at least 9 seconds to go. So a stop and a bucket, and there's that 12 or 13-point margin we were talking about.
Well, right now it's 10, and Green checks back in. The one thing that Huggins didn't do was try to continue to recruit some of the kids he was recruiting at Kansas State. He came here and started over.
Mensah out of control, and now there'll be plenty of time for a good shot if they play for one. Looks like they're going to go there.
Mazzulla pushes to Ruoff, sets for three, and buries it.
Why not? Now their biggest lead of the night. Just what I was talking about in this last 2 minutes. And they're not in the locker room yet, and it's at 13.
A nice run by the Mountaineers. They had one earlier. We are at the Coliseum in Morgantown, capacity 14,000, and there are a bunch of people here tonight. Duquesne and West Virginia meeting for the 35th consecutive year. With a minute 30 to go, it was 39-35. Since then, Mountaineers have scored 9 unanswered. I'm John Sanders with Bob Valdano. You know, it's interesting. We talked about how many times that Pitt had played West Virginia, or Pitt had played Duquesne, rather, in basketball. There are 2 schools that Duquesne has played more than Pitt. This is one of them, West Virginia, and the other, St. Bonaventure.
Much like the Pitt situation, hasn't been that much of a rivalry of late because Duquesne's been rebuilding, but boy, they are going to have to address that at halftime.
Yes, so a huge rebounding margin for West Virginia.
They take care of one problem. It's like the little boy with the finger in the dike.
Right.
They stop the three-point shooting. Now they can't get a rebound.
Yeah, so far they have allowed only 3 3-pointers in the ballgame. 2 by Ruoff and 1 by Wellington Smith.
See if they've got a designed play here and where they go with it if they do.
The Jacksons in the backcourt. The Jackson 2 right now for Duquesne. Not related.
James, I think. Trying to get James.
Over the top to James.
Nicely done.
Worked out perfectly. But he will finish in double figures in the first half with 11. But Deshaun Butler having a terrific night so far, leads the scoring with 15. And the Mountaineers have worked themselves into an 11-point lead. As we go to halftime, we'll start our halftime coverage when we come back. Halftime continues here at the Coliseum, capacity 14,000. Hard to believe this building was opened in 1970, so it's held up pretty well, don't you think?
I really do. I said from the first time I came in here, what a great place to broadcast the game, and it's a good spectator area, great atmosphere, good sight lines. It has held up very well in the 37 years of its existence.
Every year but one when they had to move someplace else because of the asbestos removal here. Let's check out some highlights of the first half. The Dukes had only 1 lead in the first half, but again, they play tough or they don't go away.
Well, I think you'll see in these highlights, they were getting their share of offense. Good kick out there for the three by Clark. They shot 46% in the first half, so offense was not their problem here. You see they got some buckets in transition. Nice 2-on-1 break there. Clark with the finish. West Virginia, though, anything you can do, we can do better. 46% for you. How about 60% for us, say the Mountaineers? You see good interior passing. That guy had a terrific hand. Deshaun Butler gave him a great inside presence. Alexander came on in the latter part of the half, made some good-looking back-to-the-basket moves, and then off the dribble. And really, those are the numbers that have swayed this in West Virginia's favor. Look at that shooting percentage. Duquesne, who had all sorts of trouble offensively against Pitt, they've solved it to a degree. 46% is respectable, only 7 turnovers, but they're giving up 61% and beating off the glass 23-6. Now their problem is at the other end of the floor.
Well, the turnovers have probably been the main factor that's kept them in the ball game. The band is here, the fans are here. They're enjoying it so far. Mountaineers are still not back on the court. Duquesne Dukes are. Duquesne trailing here by 11. Back with more in a minute. The lead is 11 for Bob Huggins' club, and you can see the jacket is back on. Star Watch update, 12 for James. No blocks. Ruoff with 6. He has not shot the ball that much. Ruoff has the ball right now. A little different starting lineup. That's an offensive foul. Immediately off the bat called on Alexander. Joe will pick up his second. He got inside. This time they go with Clark, James, Aaron Jackson, Reggie Jackson, and Damon Saunders. So he's kind of mixed his two groups. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm sorry, John. It's interesting that Mensa's not out there. I think that's reflection.
Maybe in the doghouse a little bit.
Defense. That's a great defensive effort. You know, you talk about Star Watch, Ruoff not getting a lot of shots, but that's why he's so valuable. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and he creates the turnover there with a good individual defense.
Neither team has scored in the first 25 seconds. Darius Nichols, who left early in the first half with 3 fouls. He's back out there to start the second half. Mountaineers going with their original starting lineup. No, they're not. They are not going with their original starting lineup because Wellington Smith is in there, and that's a 3-pointer and a big basket, the first of the night for Darius Nichols, playing in his 112th consecutive game.
That's what a senior can do. You can take him out for foul trouble. It doesn't affect him. He comes right back.
Saunders from the corner has the answer. That's his first basket tonight. So they exchanged 3-pointers in the opening minute of the second half.
We had only 5 total in the first half. We got 2 already here.
Alexander to Butler. Deshaun Butler was outstanding. Ruoff for 3. Butler the rebound. An offensive rebound and a short jumper. No good. Clark and Butler hit the deck, and the referee said play on. James short jumper. Bending.
Ow, that should have been interference.
Clark has it knocked away.
Somebody pulled the net while the ball was on the rim, and it re-snapped back up, and I think it affected that ball.
Nichols on the run. Has the first 2 hoops of the second half for the Mountaineers.
Great senior presence. He led the Big East last year in assist-to-turnover ratio. Great presence, floor presence.
Great drive by Jackson, and he'll get himself to the line with a basket.
Take a look and see if this is basket interference. The ball, watch, if it's on the rim and you grab the net, right there, that's definitely interference. You cannot touch it if it's on the rim. If it's in the cylinder and you graze the net, that's fine. But if it's sitting on the rim, that's a no-go. I think they got away with one there.
Jackson has been busy at the free throw line, and he misses another. He's missed 4 tonight, and he hadn't missed any coming in.
Boy, it looks like it's in his head right now. That was a bad release right there, a little tentative.
Still an 11-point lead. This is Wellington Smith to Butler outside. Working on Clark. Inside. Alexander fadeaway and fouled.
That is such an important presence for this team. You know, you hear fans say all the time, boy, if we had the big man, obviously you'd love to have that 7-footer who can play. But if you can't, John, doesn't mean you abandon a low-post game. You pick and choose the matchups. And with this guy's skill, he's got to give that to them this year.
And you've got Wellington Smith, who's 6'7". First chance at the line for Alexander, who's been terrific from the free throw stripe this year. 11 points for him. There's Flowers, the freshman replacing Wellington Smith.
I have huge respect for John Beilein, but I don't think we're talking out of school to say this young man was not the happiest camper in the basketball the basketball camp of West Virginia here. Joe Alexander is clearly still finding his way with a new coach, but seems to have more of a smile on his face.
Saunders with it. Flowers guarding him, and he dances his way in. Missed the shot. Nichols has the rebound. Alexander on the wing. Clark will pick him up.
Great skip.
Skip and a three on the way for Ruoff. Got it. That's his third.
That's a beautiful bit of basketball. They made it look simple. That's going to be 4 on Nichols now.
No, it's only going to be 3, I think.
Oh, you're correct.
Actually, I think Jackson got away with a walk before the foul. 2 shots anyway coming up for Reggie. He's been busy at the line, but he's only 3 for 7.
Take a look at that third personal foul on Nichols. He did something in transition, though, as really it's in his head right now. You can see that.
3 for 8 at the free throw line.
Nichols came down in transition, stopped the ball nice and high, threw it to Alexander, and he let all of his teammates space the floor properly so he could throw that skip pass and get the 3. That's an experienced team that likes to pass the ball, but it starts with Darius Nichols.
Well, that ended that string of 4 straight misses at the line for Reggie Jackson. Butler. Alexander battling Saunders. Alexander, a no-look pass, and he throws it away. 14 turnovers for the Mountaineers. They are still up 15. Their biggest lead has been 16. Just over 3 minutes gone here in the second half. Saunders works his way to the baseline, cut off there, and now draws a double team.
Timeout. Ron Everhart saw that was a no-win proposition right there.
It's 58-43 with 16:44 to play. The Mountaineers trying to add to their lead and improve their record to 7-1. We'll be back. Mountaineers were up 11 at halftime. They've increased that a little bit to 58-43 here in the second half. Just over 3 minutes into it. Both teams are still in their huddles.
I'm always intrigued when a guy who has the obviously very forceful personality of a Bob Huggins comes into a program like this. He's coming home, obviously, as alma mater, and yet it's not like they're in a rebuilding situation. They won the NIT last year. They've had some great runs the last few years. And it's interesting to see, and I think he's done the best of both worlds. They play with an offensive philosophy that's similar to what they did last year. He's obviously added very much of his touch defensively, and you can just see him going out of his way to create his own relationships with kids. We talked about Joe Alexander, who struggled at times last year, and I watched during that whole timeout. Bob Huggins walked with his arm around the young man's waist, talking to him during probably the first 2/3 of that timeout. That's the veteran coach. That's what you do. You build relationships.
Achara in there, misses the short one. Scramble for the loose ball. Out of bounds, it'll stay at this end. The Dukes will keep it. Achara in there with Saunders. The Jacksons are still in there, and Clark is in there. So the only change was to take James out of the lineup. Aaron Jackson with it. Saunders to the baseline, no place to go. He turns it over.
You just can't go in there against a Bob Huggins coach team. They will make you pay. The great rotation, no room there.
Alexander, straight away, two-pointer is good that time by Flowers. And Flowers has 10. He's closing in on his freshman high. His best this year was 14.
Back in the 1-3-1. This team loves to pass the ball. That's a carryover from last year. And just so much fun to watch if you love the game. Unselfish.
17-point lead, the largest of the night. Baseline jumper is good by Clark. He's got 11.
That was a nice job of getting it without the bounce to the short corner where you get a shot against that 1-3-1.
Overplaying and almost knocking it away that time was Reggie Jackson. It goes out of bounds. And we have a timeout with 15:40 to play in the evening. The Mountaineers using the play of Nichols to get going in the second half. They've opened it up by 15. 60-45 is our score. We're in Morgantown, West Virginia. The Mountaineers are back home after going to Birmingham to play Auburn. We're happy to have you with us for our coverage of Big East Conference basketball tonight. It's the Dukes of the Atlantic 10, the Mountaineers of the Big East. From the Coliseum, I'm John Sanders along with Bob Valvano.
John, we talked about at the top the things that these teams needed to do. We said Duquesne had to hold their own on the backboards. Not happening. 27-9. And we talked about West Virginia having to manage Sean James. They've done a good job. He has not blocked a shot and has just one rebound on the evening. So they've done a good job negating his presence to the point where Ron Everhart's taken him out for long stretches. It's in now, though. You remember, I don't think he came out at all against Pitt the other night.
He played all but 2 minutes. Well, he fouled out. Remember, there was 2 seconds left, and he played 38 minutes of that game. And I think this is the first time tonight that the two 6'10 players have been on the court together. Backdoor Nichols, up and in.
Set play out of the timeout. Gets applause from the coaching staff. Well executed.
Go back to that 17-point lead. Second time they've had that here in the second half as Reggie Jackson handles in front. Clark has been effective for the Dukes. Here comes James.
No place to go there, I'm telling you. John, there's nowhere to go. How many times have they taken a baseline tonight, and what do you think their rate of productivity is? I would say maybe they've scored once, and they probably have 5 or 6 turnovers. That may be conservative, maybe worse than that.
5 minutes gone in the second half. Nichols has really stepped it up. He got himself in early foul trouble in the first half, but he has come on strong with 7 points here in the second half. See if Alexander drives. That's what he loves to do. Lost it going in, but drew the foul. He was going to go to the basket. Make no mistake about it. That'll be foul number 3 on Sean James.
Very quick, taking it to the goal, but he will make the pass. He's got a couple of assists, unselfish player, but he'll get to the hole in a hurry.
Deshaun Butler outside.
Full team pass. You don't pass on this team, you don't play.
Alexander, a little fade away off the glass, just missed it. Loose ball, tracked down by Jackson against Ruoff, and he has to pull it out. This guy won't pull it out. Drive into the basket is Reggie Jackson, and he's got double figures with 10. That's his season high.
We talk about they play in runs, Duquesne. They need one now. Let's see if that kickstarts them a little bit.
Boy, it is physical, isn't it? Wow. I mean, Jackson is just mauling Nichols. Joe Alexander outside. Finds Nichols. Started to step down the lane and was fouled. You know who we haven't seen in the second half is Mensah.
Kojo Mensah has been on the pines in an offensive drought right now. He's got 1 field goal off a layup. Really has struggling woes from Wednesday night have continued till this evening.
Ruoff in the corner.
Look how easily, though, they're running their offense. No sense of they're under any pressure. 4, 5, 6 passes, not even close to a deflection.
Here's Ruoff trying to post up one of the Jacksons. Dump down to Butler. Spins. Another turnover for West Virginia.
That was a good defensive possession for the Dukes.
15 turnovers by the Mountaineers. They're still up by 15. Aaron Jackson picked up by Ruoff. Gets to James. Tucker, very quick. No place to go there, and he turns it over.
Every time, and that's the right cut, you start to slip the screen. They've been switching everything at the top. He tried to slip the screen. He lost his man, but there's the weak side defender. That's how you defend your coach Huggins, and they've done a good job of it all night.
Darius Nichols able to handle the pressure. Picked up by Tucker. Here's Alexander. Looks for help. Nichols with it. Here's Alexander with the short jumper. Bending off, but no good. Smith almost had the rebound over the back of Clark, but here come the Dukes. Off rebound Nichols.
But the only kind of three they get is a quick trigger three. And not sure that's their best shot either.
Butler is going to check back in. Nichols gets inside or misses the shot.
That's the first time we've really seen James' presence. Came across and altered that shot.
15-point lead for the Mountaineers. Achara calling for the ball, gets it low, puts it up, and it won't go.
And that's a good shot. They never throw it out.
Ruoff fouled on the play. That's the third on Aaron Jackson. Very alert pass that time by Alexander.
Two very bright players. Alexander with a good pass, and Ruoff just used his body beautifully as a screen, drew the contact and finishes.
(66-49) is our score. The man in the middle there is Mike Garrison, who was the new president of West Virginia University. He was installed in late October. Comes to the game, sits behind the bench, and there is the legend himself. Very quiet. You would never know Jerry West was in the house, would you?
Just the most unassuming, all-time great superstar that you can imagine. It's actually exciting to know that he's here. I'm not embarrassed to tell you that he's a guy that you grew up watching the NBA as I did. Wow.
His number is retired. The statue is in front of the building.
And he's the logo for the league, for goodness sake. What does that tell you?
It tells you he's a legend. You're right. Ruoff's first chance at the line. He's got a dozen now. And of course, Fred Schaus, the legendary coach here, was also in the building tonight. He was honored earlier. James, turnaround, good. 16 now for Sean.
Right before the half, they ran a play designed to get the ball to him. He delivered and scored. Nice job in the trap there. You just get the impression right now they kind of have to go through him and probably encourage him to throw it out and find a shooter every once in a while just to mix it up. But, John, that's about the only consistent source of offense they've been able to get is when they put it in his hands.
Golf fans, club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to espngolf.com to sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifying site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. Well, James, tonight, just to finish your thought, he is 6 for 7 shooting, 4 of 4 at the line. He has 3 rebounds. He has 2 assists, but he has no swats.
Well, that's been a big part of West Virginia's attack. Great spacing, so making it very hard for him to get from his man to the shooter and create a block. That's what they do so well. They space the floor, they pass and cut. They've done it very effectively. But for Duquesne, again, at the offensive end, really haven't been the traditional answers for them. The first part of the season, it's been a three-headed monster of James, Mensah, and Achara, and still Achara and Mensah.
A run out by Alexander. This will be interesting. He wasn't going to let him block that.
Wasn't that interesting? It was pretty definitive that Joe Alexander said, "You're not getting this one, big fella."
Well, he told me that yesterday. He said, if I go up for a dunk, he's not going to stop me. And he was right. Three-pointers on the way, bending off, tip up, no good. Right there is Alexander. He's fouled by Achara, I believe.
I think this is a little bit of the presence they've wanted to see from this young man. The dunk out of the timeout, they had to call the timeout because they were trapped, a little wobbly. And then on that defensive rebound, he was right in the center of that skirmish and came down with authority. Here's the finish. James trying to size him up. Joe says, nope, can't have it. Looks at him, glares at him a little bit too.
Well, the only way he was going to block that is to foul him big time.
That rebound, I'll be honest, the rebound at the other end, to me, was as impressive as the
you're
dunk.
right. 1-1 already. Alexander is 22 of 24 from the free throw line this year. And probably the most spirited thing that happened today at practice was the battle between the Blues and the Golds in shooting free throws. First one to 10, the other team has to run the court.
Oh, yeah, that's... You'd be amazed what kind of effort and energy they'll put in that.
Well, as it turned out, the Blues won all 3 times. Biggest lead of the night is 20. This is James. Oh, nice spin move.
Oh, how about that?
That was sometime big time move there. 18 now for James.
How about After all night long getting nothing off the baseline, just a quick zip along the baseline off the spin, and then the authoritative finish.
Trap and a foul. And that's going to go on Reggie Jackson. That'll be 3 on him.
Take a look how quick this is. This is too quick even for the great weak side rotation. Little fake spin. Can't get there. He beats the help defender Smith and finishes it with authority. Great move by James. I'll tell you, people have not given this West Virginia team enough credit, I think, in the early part of the year. Keep an eye on this ball club. They have veteran leadership. They come off an NIT championship with 71% of offense back. They have that guy who every year he's coached has been in the postseason since '88. That's a pretty good run. 2 solid decades.
Absolutely. 6 of 6 for Joe Alexander at the line, and he's got a 20-point game working here tonight. James against Alexander came up a little short, and I think Alexander affected that shot a little bit.
I think he did. That's the one he's got to look to throw out, find a teammate for 3. He hasn't shown he can do that consistently.
Stripped away, but a foul called, and Saunders will get charged for that foul.
He dodged the bullet there. Joe Alexander had a weak side defender coming from behind him, the blind side. Almost had it knocked away, was triple teamed for a while. Still managed to get out of there, and will get to the free throw line. I would think if you're Jerry West, you've been around the block a little bit, you're starting to look at the scoreboard and say, are we up enough yet for get a chance to see Junior play here?
Sure, I think it'll be soon. There's still 9:23 to go, though. Granted, they have their biggest lead of the night.
They are in firm control right now. They are really getting everything going their way.
Alexander with 22 points to lead the scoring. Tucker able to hang on to it. Butler went for the steal, didn't get it. 75-53. And there's a steal. Here's a run out by Butler. Tucker fouls in. No.
Called it intentional.
He'll get 2 shots at the line. Basket did not go.
He waved the shot off anyway. It wouldn't have counted. He called an intentional foul before the shot. Great job defensively. They won't let you get out of the corner, and then when you finally get it to the middle, everybody swarms to help. They get the steal. I'm not sure about that, but that was a bad angle to see it from the other side. He clearly was trying to foul him. That's always a tough call because, I mean, you know he's trying to foul him. He doesn't want to give up the layup, but when do you call it? An intentional 2 shots on the ball.
Last 2, Butler has missed, and Deschanner had a great first half, has not scored in the second half.
That's how they play, though. They are a good chemistry team.
And back to Joe Alexander, the 22 points, a season high. And his career high is 23.
Coming off a game where Alexander Ruoff had his career high with 28. That's how they play. It's very no accident they broke the school record for assists last year. They like to pass the ball. They share it.
Well, they've got 4 players in double figures. Not a happy camper there because Butler has missed his 3rd free throw in a row, but the Mountaineers will get the ball. 9 minutes exactly to play, and the lead is 22. That is the largest tonight.
Good delivery.
Alexander off the glass and good. He's got a career high 24 points. And he's feeling it, isn't he?
Yeah, you've got to be pleased with what they're seeing out of Joe tonight. Making the game look simple. Put the defender on your back and just shoot over him. Good delivery at the top, though. Give Butler credit as well.
That foul is going to go, I believe, on Darius Nichols. And that's 4. He'll have to sit. Missoula will come back in. Darius got in foul trouble with 2 early in the first half, and he's picked up his 2nd foul of the second half. 24-point lead for the Mountaineers. Long way back as Aaron Jackson handles the inbounds pass. Ruoff on him. Mountaineers trying to improve to 7-1 and hand the Dukes their 3rd consecutive loss. Duquesne will be off until the 21st now, finals coming up next week. On the bluff, Jackson to James, deflected out of bounds by Missoula.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, about Duquesne. They've traveled already 3,200 miles, but now they have 3 consecutive home games and then 4 of their next 5. This is the stretch of schedule. They really got to parlay that good start into a gaudy record.
That's a 3. It rattles out. Foul inside on the rebound. Let's see if that goes against Alexander. It will. No, maybe it was Butler. The foul was on Butler, and Butler's been in foul trouble a lot this year. James misses that shot, gets his own rebound, and that's blocked. Comes up short. The rebound pulled out of there by Wellington Smith.
Well, Bob Huggins has to be thrilled with the way his guys have responded to the challenge. They've gone right at the big fellas inside, blocked their shots, haven't gotten their own blocked, made a statement.
A career game for Alexander, point-wise. And here he comes again. Works his way inside, goes to the left hand, missed the shot. Scramble for the loose ball. We have a tie-up, and it'll go to the other end. Possession now belongs to Duquesne. Well, he missed that shot, but you can't fault the effort. He has done a great job here tonight, leading the way for the Mountaineers, who lead at 77-53, just inside 8 minutes to play. Mountaineers in control, 77-53, with 7:52 to play in the ball game. One of the interesting notes, we talked about Duquesne leading the country in blocks per game over 9. Tonight they have 1. The Panthers have 6.
Yeah, I think you take a look at the game plan that they put together, and obviously it plays into their hand. They like to spread the floor, the Mountaineers, but they have done a terrific job of, when they taking it in there, John, not looking over their shoulder. They go up and finish with authority.
Saunders tries to work that baseline. Missoula got a hand in. It got him trapped. He gets out of it, finds Jackson, and he hits. That's Reggie Jackson with a dozen.
Good job splitting the double. Took a desperate position and turned it into an easy shot.
Deshaun Butler spinning against Aaron Jackson. Wellington Smith will back it out. Ruoff alone on the baseline, and now they reverse to Butler. He's got a 3 on the way and good. Butler's first points in the second half of 3. He's got 18 on the night.
They are playing very well, I think. Bob Huggins has to see a lot of things he likes,
except the turnovers. Clark took a shot to the head. Missoula races back, misses the shot, out of bounds, and it belongs to Duquesne.
It's a foul, actually.
Oh, it is a foul. Going to go on Ruoff? Yep, it is. Alex, second foul.
Look at Missoula trying to finish. Doesn't get much height on this shot.
No, he just didn't get it up there.
Didn't get it above the rim.
Usually has to go above the rim to go in the basket.
That's the insight we expect out of this broadcast team.
Jackson with a dozen goes to the line. This will be his 10th trip to the line. Butler has matched his season. No, Butler is at a season high with 18. So 10 trips to the line, and he's 5 of 10. Another rebound for Alexander, and a baseball pass to Ruoff. Stops. That one is blocked. James got a piece of that one, so he does have a block.
Yeah, he got a little casual that time, Ruoff.
Well, you cannot get casual when he's out there. Clark whistles it back outside. Reggie Jackson to Saunders. From the corner, no good. I don't believe Clark missed that one. Has Mensah played at all in this half?
I don't remember him getting off the bench at all, so obviously
he's going to come in now.
I was going to say it's going to be an injury or they're making a statement, but he's going to get a chance in the last 6+.
6:20 to be exact. Missoula to the foul line. Smith for 3. Going back the other way is Jackson. Fouled by Butler. On his way in, Butler will pick up his second foul. We're told that Tim Tebow won the Heisman Trophy. Congratulations to him. First time a sophomore has ever won it. He's a load, isn't he? A big kid.
He's the numbers absolutely off the charts this year. I think they were so sensational that they broke precedent and did give it to a sophomore.
course, the Mountaineers thought they had 2 potential guys to be in that final group, and turned out they had none. We've had 35 fouls called in this game. We've had 1 ejection of a player early on. That was Smallligan. Aaron Jackson from Hartford, Connecticut. Some of the folks are heading for the highways with the threat of more snow in this part of the country tonight. Missoula handles against Tucker. Alexander driving. Missed the shot. He thought he was fouled. Aaron Jackson cut off. Cut off that time by Wellington Smith, who's become a big factor on this West Virginia team. A 3-pointer there for Saunders. His second of the night.
First sign the Mountaineers a little lazy on defense. They never got it inside. They just threw it around the perimeter, got a wide open 3.
That's Smith in the corner. 5:20 to play. Missoula on a drive. Finds Alexander. And Joe's willing to take some time off the clock. I think he's a little tired.
I was going to say, I think there's a few guys that are. I saw Jackson wave at Missoula as he went by. He looked a little gassed.
Inside 10 on the shot clock. Ruoff. Pull-up jumper on the baseline is too strong. The ball tipped out of bounds, and it belongs to Duquesne. Missoula with a miss, and Joe Missoula has only 2 points tonight coming from the foul line. Bob Huggins is going to go to his bench and bring Smith out of the game and put the freshman John Flowers. He is the 4th player, Flowers, in double figures for the Mountaineers with 10. 5 minutes to go. Here's Achara. Good move to keep the ball away from the defender. Gets his second field goal. He's got 5 points on the night. 80-67. Flowers will reset with Alexander. And we've got a timeout. I don't think Bob Huggins is very happy with the way they're setting up at the offensive end right now.
I don't know if it was the offensive end or something that went on at the defensive end. I'm not sure, because their spacing is still pretty good offensively. I marvel at how effortlessly they stay out of each other's way. That sounds like a simple thing, but something that, Duquesne has got to work a little bit more, and they get in the lane, and that guy doesn't have a bunch of easy kick-out passes. There are guys kind of betwixt and between. West Virginia masters at that.
Tonight's game is being produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television Incorporated. And we, as always, thank our fine crew. Usually get the same men and women here in Morgantown on the crew, and they do a great job.
Still not to belabor the point, but this Duquesne team, they have 3 of their next 3 games, in fact, at home, 4 out of 5. Even if this one goes in the loss column, they will be 6-3. A terrific start for them in a rebuilding second-year run. Everhart's rebuilding. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with in a league that's gotten a lot better. The A-10 5th in the RPI right now, and I wouldn't sleep on West Virginia coming off that NIT championship. They look good.
Inside out play, but Missoula does not shoot it. Instead goes to Ruoff. He will shoot a 3 and drill it. That is his 4th 3-pointer, and he's got 15 on the night.
That's why they're so good. Missoula could have shot it, didn't though, because he knew his teammate could get a better shot.
And Missoula will pick up the foul. That is Joe's 3rd.
I mean, had Missoula taken that shot, I don't think anybody would have thought twice. He was open enough to shoot it, but passed it up and got Ruoff a wide open look. That's what makes them so tough to guard.
Aaron Jackson will go to the line. West Virginia 7 of 14 shooting the 3s. That's 10 fewer than they had against Duquesne last year. Jackson with 5 points. 3 of them have come from the foul line. A pair at the line for Aaron Jackson. 6 points on the night. And Missoula able to get the basketball. We're in the Coliseum in Morgantown, West Virginia tonight for Duquesne and West Virginia meeting for the 35th consecutive year. West Virginia has dominated this series of late. It has been a huge night for Joe Alexander. He had 10 points in the first half, and he's come on strong in the second half, adding 14. He's 8 of 8 at the line. The foul will go on Tucker. That'll be his third. We'll take a break with 3:49 remaining to be played. The Mountaineers lead is 18. It's been as many as 25, but they're still comfortably in front. It is 83-65. The only lead Duquesne had was when Jamie Smolligan was kicked out of the game. The Mountaineers have taken over since, and the guy that's taken over big time tonight is right there. Number 11, Joe Alexander, a career-high game with 24 points.
And not only that, John, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. 8 for 8 from the free throw line, just doing a lot of little things and really using those physical gifts that they've talked about and seen spurts of, but not on a consistent basis. This is what they want night in and night out.
The other thing that he's done, he's gone inside for those rebounds. He's also gone inside for his offense.
He's played back to the basket. As we said, anytime you get it in there and a guy makes it look simple, you know that he's done his job perfectly well in the setup. He's got the defender right on his back. He's got a good target for the passer. He's able to catch it and just put it up seemingly effortlessly. And how many of those has Joe made here in the second half?
A ton. In the second half, he has 14 points. Missoula was 2 of 2 at the line in the first half.
This team's got to make its way into the rankings soon, I think.
Well, they're stating a case, certainly with the way they played. A pair for Joe Missoula, the sophomore from Rhode Island. All of his points at the line tonight. 85-65, 20-point lead. The Dukes will, aside from having to take final exams, will probably enjoy a little time off after all the traveling they've done so far that you talked about.
As we said, a big key stretch of schedule for them. A lot of home games.
Reggie Jackson reverses the basketball. Tucker will shoot a 3. That one is blocked, but a foul on the freshman Flowers. Flowers with 10. Ruoff with 15. Alexander with 24. And Deshaun Butler a season high 18.
I'm very old school. I like that. Flowers really clobbered Tucker. In fact, Tucker's holding his arm. He took a pop. And Flowers quickly helped him up after fouling him on the 3. Nothing wrong with sportsmanship.
Tucker had a field goal in the first half from Southern Union Junior College. And he fouled him on the 3, of course, so he'll have one more coming. West Virginia behind that play early in this half of Nichols, who's back on the court. That's when they really started to take control of the game. And Nichols, I think, was the trigger man here in the second half.
You know, he's so instrumental into how comfortable they are attacking various defenses. This team presses, and they never look threatened. And I think you're right. Nichols was a big part of it.
Wham! How about that? It's a dozen for the freshman, John Flowers. Mountaineers with 2 point guards on the court, and that foul is going to go on Missoula.
Well, I was just going to give him a compliment, Missoula, because he did a nice job triggering it. That's what you talked about. Nichols did so well early on against the pressure. Missoula does. Splits the double team, finds the open man, and Ruoff has been so good at making good decisions. But then at the other end, he was so excited. I don't know what he was jumping at. Missoula, the guy was still dribbling, and he was flying around. By the time he came down off jumping, Jackson had already been by him, and he had no choice but to foul him. The motion is good, John, but within reason.
Absolutely. Tell Jamie Smolligan that.
I think that's a good example.
And the first miss at the line, and there for the rebound is Alexander.
He's everywhere on both backboards.
Well, they've kind of spread it around. In the first half, there was good play off the bench by Wellington Smith. Flowers has played well. Here's Ruoff on a drive. Dumps it over. And a block and a foul. That'll be on Achara. That'll give him 4. Missoula, by the way, has 4 fouls. So does Darius Nichols. So both the point guards with some foul problems. And I wonder if there's going to be a little family reunion after this game for both coaches, actually. Ron Everhart with a lot of his folks are here. He's from Fairmont. As a matter of fact, he used to hitchhike up here and be the ball boy for Bob Huggins. And when he couldn't get a ride back to Fairmont, he would stay with Huggins.
So there's a little bit of a history there.
There have been 40 fouls called in this game tonight. And he gets the free throw. So 1 out of 2 for John Flowers. He's got 13 in the game. He'll depart. Deshaun Butler is back. That's what it's like when you lose 3 in a row. They lost to Drake. Had a 16-hour bus ride home. A couple days later, they played Pitt. Chased them to the wire, basically, before losing by 5. Backdoor play knocked away.
They're good defensively. They are a solid defensive team. Bobby Huggins has left his mark in the short season already at the defensive end.
Missoula with a drive. Gets it back from Ruoff. Now Butler. They'll work it on the perimeter. 20 on the shot clock. A little over 2 to play. Missoula inside. Now Ruoff's going to shoot this one, you know. But he was a little short with it. Tucker on the break. Will go to the line.
And now he managed to get that off. I thought Ruoff was sizing him up to block it.
Instead, Ruoff will pick up his 3rd personal foul. Spent a lot of time on the free throw line here tonight. This will be 2 coming up for Tucker. And the Mountaineers are going to run their record to 7-1. You talked about what's coming up. They will be playing a week from today against Maryland, Baltimore County. Then they've got Radford. Then they've got Canisius on the road before they go to Oklahoma.
Still a great start, that win over Auburn. Very impressive. They lost to a nationally ranked Tennessee team in a very tight, hard-fought game. So they've really come out building off that success last year, not missing a beat with the coaching change.
And they lost by 2 to the Volunteers. Missoula looking for somebody to go to. We're inside 2 minutes. How about that?
That just, you got to remember, folks, the guy he's shooting it over, Ashar, is 6'10". It's not like he's taking a guy 6'5". He's just elevating it quickly, not allowing it to be blocked.
Tucker gets inside. Saunders couldn't finish. And here's a breakout of 4-on-2 for the Mountaineers. Missoula fouled on the play.
Alexander's just flying. They say in football, flying to the ball. That's what he's doing at both ends. We got an injured player here now, too. Saunders is still down. The officials call the training staff.
Duty picks up the foul. Part of that 10-man rotation, as they like to call it, 10 men for 40 minutes, and they have 10 men who average 12-plus minutes per game. And Saunders, a highly touted freshman from Waterbury, Connecticut, is down on the court. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened. Whoops.
Gets rolled on. Oh, boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he knew it immediately. Vic Bauer is the longtime trainer for the Duquesne Dukes. And a very amicable discussion over there right now between Huggins and Wally Witecki. Witecki was the one who ejected his starting center.
It's easier to be a little gracious when you're
well, when you're up by 22.
22 the minute 24. Generally, you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being helped to the bench by his teammates. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That would be a terrible loss for Ron Everhart's bunch. You can say 10 guys for 40 minutes, but certainly there's some guys whose physical presence would be difficult to replace. That's one of them. Saunders at 6'7". It's a noteworthy win for Bob Huggins as well, because it breaks a tie that he was in with John Thompson for all-time wins at 596.
And he is climbing ever closer to that magic 600.
Get him 3 away, and he's 32nd now on the all-time list. He's 9th all-time in winning percentage. Coaches 738. Pretty strong.
Great success wherever he's been. All 6 points for Missoula at the line, and Johnny West is in the ballgame.
And his father's signing autographs. Now he has to watch now. Hey, Jerry, stop. You got to pay attention out here. He's signing autographs. There he is. Come on, your son just got in. Give him a break up there. Let him watch for a minute.
Reggie Jackson with a drive and a miss. Darius Nichols comes out of there with the loose ball. 1:10 to play. Deshaun Butler was a big key in the first half, and it's been Alexander with 16 points to key the second half, and also Darius Nichols, who scored all 7 of his points here in the second half after being blanked. Johnny West for 3.
Well, that would have brought the house down.
Well, that's his specialty, is shooting the three-pointers. Inside a minute to go. 92-68.
Certainly his father. You made the point with me that I did not realize that Jerry West is still the all-time leading rebounder here.
Scorer and rebounder, and only played 3 years.
That's unbelievable. Played guard in the NBA and graduated here as the all-time leading rebounder. Big hand for Alex Ruoff as he heads to the bench.
No, he has been solid again. West is on, along with Josh Sowards is on. Also back again is Jacob Green. And missing in action in the second half was Kojo Menza. He was the leading scorer for this team coming in. And Kojo has been missing in the second half. Sowers with it. Now Green. Shot clock at 5. Game clock a second difference. That'll do it.
Impressive by the home team.
92-68 is the final. Deshaun Butler with a season high 18 points. Joe Alexander had a career high 26. They led the way for the Mountaineers, who improved their record to 7-1. The Dukes lose their 3rd game in a row, and they are now 6-3 on the season. A lot of smiles for West Virginia. They did it all. They led by 11 at halftime and opened it up. They win by 24 here tonight, handling their Atlantic 10 foe, the Dukes of Duquesne. Again, our final score from Morgantown, West Virginia. West Virginia 92 and Duquesne 68. For Bob Valvano and our entire crew here, I'm John Sanders. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN Regional Sports, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports.